Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for another late night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. It is Monday, June 25th, 2012, into Tuesday, June 26th, 2012. We thank you for being with us here tonight. We are going to be getting into a variety of news stories for you here tonight, and we have more news stories here tonight than we've had lately. That's the good news. But still not, a big substantial amount. So we'll get through what we have to get through tonight, and then we will move on to our exciting continued series of reading and delving deeper into the hidden. There's just so much hidden, and there's so much knowledge of the hidden that's out there that we haven't even gotten to yet. I mean, that's really where I'm at right now. I mean, I'm finding out so many things that just seem like they should be common knowledge. So that's become one of my goals here with this project, is to, help try and do my part to make some of these things that are, here all around us, all over the world, almost anywhere you live, there are remnants of this. And the interesting thing is that this what I thought was just I've been concentrating on what's just here in North America and whatnot where I am, but have indeed found evidence of these same people being everywhere, all over the world, and it's just highly fascinating. Continues to be so, constantly changing what you think you know and what you think you understand about all this crazy stuff, My website where this broadcast originates from is theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. You'll find all things pertaining to my work. The newly redesigned globalreality.com website. We've had a midget and a leprechaun in a box that we've been whipping with a stick for the past week, and the web. I'm kidding. No, we haven't been beating any of our website people with sticks or putting them in boxes, and we currently don't employ any leprechauns or midgets, unfortunately. But we do have our guy who built our new website design for us in Man Hydra, who takes care of the website, and I have not been beating him with a stick. I promise, but he's been beating himself with a stick, mercilessly getting the website looking better and better, and little tweaks here and there. And I'm really pleased with it and really happy with it. And I think that all parties involved in the whole new website redesign, from the design to the maintenance and setting up there, thanks to all those people. Thank you guys for doing that for the cause and helping out and making it look nice and presentable. And I appreciate that, because it's not something I'm an expert in. And there are people out there who are experts at it. And, I do a lot. You know what I mean? I do quite a bit. I mean, I do the radio show stuff, and I'm over here, doing producing and tweaking, EQ and all this. I make films. I do all the music for them, cut, edit it. I'm the cameraman. I'm a one-man show, but the website thing, there are people out there who that's their expertise, and they're way better at it than I am. So that's one of those things. Just some things in life, not all things, but some things in life you just leave to the experts. And that's one of them. So I do think the website looks really rad. I think I like the design. The only thing I've noticed, it looks something's weird on iOS devices. I don't know what's going on with that, but you scroll down and there's just gray blank and you don't see any of the background or anything. I think that's probably why I've noticed that some websites you go to on an iOS device have a completely different website type that comes up. Like if you're on an iPad or an iPhone and you go to the Yahoo homepage, the Yahoo homepage looks completely different than it does on your computer. I think that has something to do with resolutions or something. I'm not sure why that is, but I've had people point that out, and I noticed it myself. So, but yeah, I think that for whatever that's caused, like I said, the experts would be able to explain that for you, exactly what causes that. But I know it does have something. There is something to do with screen resolutions, or how much of the screen it can see. And I do believe that's why certain websites, but not all websites, but certain websites you go to, it'll be like a completely different built website, like it'll be built to be compatible with the iOS. So I think that's where a lot of that is probably coming from. Bear with me here tonight if I'm sneezing, and I feel like, oh God, I feel like I got a sneeze coming on. Don't you hate that? It's the worst thing in the world. I'd rather just let me sneeze. That feeling like you're going to, and then you don't know, it's terrible. There seems to be, I don't know, some kind of summer allergy crap, who knows what going around. A lot of people I know have it, and I've got it. It's crazy. It starts out like you wake up in the morning, you have a terrible sore throat, and then you start sneezing, and then you become congested, and then you're underwater, and then like by the third day, it moves into your chest, and then you're coughing up phlegm. So it has these wonderful little stages it has as the viral body moves through your body. But yeah, just bear with me tonight if I'm sound a little under the weather or anything else. I feel great. It's not anything that, but a lot of people I know got this, so it seems to be going away. I think I should be feeling 100% better by tomorrow. I'm already starting to feel better, but it was kind of a rough weekend because got started not feeling good and had that stuff, and then Saturday, which was the hottest day of the year so far, the first hottest day of the year. The past two have been successively hotter as well, but on Saturday, which was the hottest day of the year, guess what? The air conditioner goes out at my house. Oh man. And yeah, that was not good. Not good at all. They seem to have gotten something. I mean, it's working. I don't know. It's all I really care about. But anyway, yeah, that's no fun being hot and being like feel like you're held underwater, but you're sweating balls. Oh man, it was kind of rough. But luckily, they were able to get somebody out, and we only had to endure that for 24 hours. Cross your fingers, we won't have to endure that any longer. I don't know. We'll see. I did it one time in Texas when I was young, dumb, and full of cum, as they say. I lived in this house during the sweltering part of the summer with this chick, and I had one. It was a 2-story house. It had like one window unit in it upstairs, and the motherfucker never worked. And we had this Saudi Arabian landlord. Every time we'd call him, we'd be like, "Hey, come over and fix this AC. It's not working. It is fixed." And dude, I just called you. How can you say it is fixed? And when I just called you, it is fixed. What? And then finally, he'd get him to come over, and he'd look at this thing. He's wrenching on it. It is fixed. And it'd be, blowing cold air and appear to be fixed. Be all right, awesome. Shit, this happened like 5 times. Dude gets in his car, backs out, and leaves. He's not gone 5 minutes. Motherfucker stops working again. It is fixed. Every time. You call him up. Hey, man, it quit working again. No, it is fixed. No, it's not. See, it quit. It is fixed. No, actually, it quit working like 5 minutes. It is fixed. No, it quit working 5 minutes after you left, dude. It happens like 5 times in a fucking row. It's like 105 degrees. It's like 120 in here. It's an oven. Come on. Yeah, anyway, my point is, man, I hope I don't have to do that again. It's terrible. Especially when you have animals, man, because the animals are just like, oh, shit, turn on the AC. What the fuck is going on? They don't understand AC not working. There's no way to communicate that to them. They're just like, what the fuck is going on here? They're like sprawled out under ceiling fans and shit. It's hilarious. So that was my weekend. Fun stuff. I got sick and the AC went out. Boy, life is just fucking grand, isn't it? But I tell you, it's just wonderful. But I still got a smile on my face, and when I don't know why. I'm a fucking endless, hopeless optimist. I suppose I have to be doing this as long as I've been doing it with. Barely getting what we even need to do the work here. Which brings me to my next point. This is our fundraising week for the broadcast. We have our chip and banner located by our website, theglobalreality.com. We have had 15 contributors this month. Not really a lot when I look at those numbers again and see how many Facebook likes we have, how many listeners we've had over the course of this month, unique listeners. But we have 38% left to go. We need to reach our goal no later than Friday of this week. And we have roughly about 900 left to go on that. And last month, really awesomely proud of you guys pitching together and all throwing in small amounts and getting us to our goal. Remember, this is our final week for this month for the Global Reality All-Stars. We've got some really awesome stuff planned for prizes, and we've also been contacted by a young lady who started her own little small company. I think she's really young, and she makes all these custom-made, like, different tie-dye things, shirts and aprons and all kinds of awesome tie-dyed stuff. But they want to offer up some prizes for the Global Reality All-Stars in exchange for, telling you where to go check them out at and stuff. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be getting a hold of them, and that's awesome because I already had some cool stuff planned I was already going to do. So everybody who I'm also going to be expanding this for this month only. I started this kind of in the middle of the month, and I noticed there were some people that donated kind of sort of at the beginning of the month, right around about the time when the bills were due last time, and some people had sent checks and whatnot, that kind of thing. So everybody who donated over $50 this month of June, you are all going to get entered into the drawing this Friday night for our Global Reality All-Stars. We're going to be picking 2 All-Stars, and also a thing we're only going to be doing this month as well. We're going to be picking 2 All-Stars on Friday night, the Friday night edition of the show, and those All-Stars will receive a nice prize pack. And you can still get in for the Global Reality All-Star drawing coming up this Friday night. Every donation of $50 or more, whether it goes to the film or whether it goes to the operating costs. Now here's the only thing I got a caveat I got to put on there. The only thing it does not count on are pledges made towards the Kickstarter, because again, that's it's not something you pay out immediately anyway. No, you don't pay out anything if we don't reach the whole goal. We've only had about 7 pledges so far at about $215 of the set goal of that anyway. But just bear in mind that only counts to donations directly made to me, either through the P.O. Box or PayPal or the Chivin Band Reserve. That's that's how that goes for that. But the sooner that we get those amounts in here, I'd rather It'd be good if we didn't wait until Friday, but I know some people have to wait till then because they get paid and whatnot, and that's fine. But, yeah, the sooner we get this done this week, the less of a fundraising week we have to have, and we can get right back into staying into our business, and I can get back to work and not have to worry about the fundraising aspect of it, which is, you know, the goal of what I'm trying to get to anyway, is where we can get to that point where, you know, budgets for films and the radio show and all that stuff is, you know, it's not even a thing every month. And that's been my goal the whole time I've been doing this, and I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. We'll have our 5-year anniversary this September. And, you know, I mean, I've got lots of things I want to do, and I want to start working towards getting to those things, and that's what I'm trying to do here with these films. But, you know, in order for us to get to that point where we don't have to have chip and banners and donate buttons and all that stuff every month, and we can sustain ourselves to be able to have all the resources that we need, and I believe we will get there eventually. But we have to, in order for us to get there, because we, you know, like I said, we've got a lot of things in the iron, a lot of stuff. There is a lot of big interest and a lot of things that are going to happen. But we just have to keep pushing and working the way that we have with your help till we get to the point where some bigger things are going to start to occur and are going to happen. But I assure you, folks, they're in the works. But we just have to make it that far till then. So that's why I'm asking all those people, and even new people who haven't donated, but especially the people who've gotten us this far, to, you know, again, please help us continue to push at this time so that we can make these big things happen. I mean, I really anymore. You know, you sometimes one of your focus and your attention of things would be on, you know, how to make things happen in the future and all this different stuff. And that's one of the things that's very cool now is I don't really feel like I have to think about that anymore. I know that things are going to happen in a big way. So I've just been focusing on the research and the work and doing all this stuff. And it does help that tremendously when you don't have to think, because I know big things are going to happen. I know we're going to have a dig. I know that some of this TV show stuff is going to work out. You know, all these things. And, you know, I just imagine that, you know, when the resource pool increases for me, I'm telling you, man, I'm just really, I can't wait for that. Because, I mean, I tell you what, I'm on fire with this stuff most of the time. Now, if I didn't have to worry about having to pay, you know, how am I going to fund a film or how we're going to pay the operating costs every month, oh, watch the fuck out, man. And, you know, a while back we had somebody send an email, and, you know, we were talking about, you know, they don't want to listen to you, ask you to support the work, but they don't want to listen to commercials either. And I was like looking at the operating costs of the films and all this stuff, and I'd never thought about it, and it really just occurred to me. I was like, you know, we could, if we had $3,000 a month coming into this operation, which is not a lot of money, we could pay all the operating costs and have a monthly budget for filmmaking and regular video presentation making all the time, and never have to have a donate button or a chip and banner ever again. It's pretty amazing. And that's not a whole hell of a lot of money. And you know, some of the stuff with TV opportunities definitely pay a lot more than that, even at the lowest level. So that's you know, that's what I've been thinking about, and that's been kind of the goal is trying to figure out how to do things like that, and just create new streams of revenue and things. And the redesign of the website is kind of a big first step in that direction, and me taking some steps towards you know, kind of changing what I'm doing here, because the information's changing and my perspective on this stuff is changing, but it's not changing in a way where it's any different than it has been up to this point. But it just, all this stuff that for years I've had questions about is now starting to come to light, and it's answering questions for the whole larger picture that we've been asking, other people have been asking for years and years and years now. And it makes all those things that are less talked about, like the stuff that I covered in the See Right films, and the Jesuit order, the Knights of Malta, Rome, the whole thing. And boy, it just makes all that, I mean, it just makes all that stuff come into perspective even more. And that's why I'm excited for this film and excited for the people out there who've stayed with me through these different phases of my work, because you're going to get the reward of being able to see what I now see, and you'll see it in that way once this film is done, being able to see how the stuff that's in the See Right 1, See Right 2, and then this film, which on the surface of it would appear to be something completely radically off the charts different than those films, and on the surface, again, it is, but at the heart of the information and at the importance of the information, it really backs up and verifies all that stuff, and that was not my intent. I didn't plan on that. But it does show you, and to me, it even exposes to the heart of the whole conspiracy truth movement, and exposes that crap even more. Because there's stuff that definitely ties into how we got to this point of the control system running the planet and enslaving humanity. It really does lie in the heart of our ancient past. So anyway, theglobalreality.com. Again, please support our work and please help us reach our goal to get the bills paid this week. And we have about 900 left to reach by Friday. Theglobalreality.com. We also have the one-time donate button. You can also make a pledge towards our Kickstarter for The Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 1. Somebody left a comment on Facebook, and I'm sorry, man. It kind of worried me. I'll be honest with you. It kind of worried me because it made me wonder and hope, and I know it's not the mindset with all of our listeners, most certainly, because I talked to a lot of you out there. But it does worry me if there's even a small percentage of our listening audience that has this kind of mindset. I had posted the Kickstarter page thing for the movie up on our Global Reality Facebook page. And someone left a comment on it that said, "Where's Volume 2? And I was baffled by that at first. I was confused. It said, "Where's Volume 2? So I fought back the urge to unleash a fury on the keyboard at this person. And, well, I guess I still kind of did, but that's just par for the course for me. But anyway, I just let them know very succinctly, very upfront, that in order for there to be a part 2, to say, where's part 2? In order for there to be that part 2, there has to be a part 1 that's funded and made first. We can't just say, all right, Volume 1, Lost Secrets of Ancient America, Volume 1. The end. All right, now we're going to work on Lost Secrets of Ancient America, Volume 2. Where's Volume 1? Well, we did that already. Oh, yeah, Yeah, we're done with that. What, you didn't make anything. Yeah, but we're on to part 2 now. It doesn't work like that. So just in case it wasn't clear, in order for there to be a part 2 to anything, you can't have Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo unless you have Breakin' the movie first. Right? Can't just go into Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. No, you got to have Breakin' the movie before that. You can't just go into Empire Strikes Back and that be the first movie. No, you got to have The New Hope before it. Otherwise, what the fuck is this Empire Striking Back for? We have no backstory here. Where's part 2? I want to see part 2. I'm like, lady, look, it's a fundraiser. It says right there, Kickstarter, fundraiser. Raising money to fund part 1. And it just made me wonder, it's like, are there people out there who really have the mindset they think that little 4-minute thing that I threw together in a couple of days, really not even to put out there on the internet for promote my own promotion. Well, it became that, but I just really made that for this TV show pitch that I'd got asked to give. So, but I ended up subsequently using it as the trailer and the preview, the promo, to help try and get some interest up, to get some funding in this project. That's not the movie. You really think that I would put out a 4-minute documentary on this subject? I mean, Christ, I'm going to have to do my goddamnedest not to make it a 4-hour documentary. And I'm already making this motherfucker like 3 volumes anyway. Where's part 2? I mean, really, I'm sorry. I mean, are people really that dense? Has it come to that? I was just baffled. But let me just to be clear again. Part 1 has not been made yet. I've not had a significant budget in order to be able to make this film. I haven't had any budget at all. I've just had a little bits here and there, but nothing substantial where I could take that, work on the film, boom, have it done, and move on to something else. So I put out this little thing in the hopes of trying to get some people interested in funding in the film, but it seems that some people completely overlooked that. So again, let me make it clear. If you want to be a part of something, and that's why I've changed the tagline to this movie because it's the absolute truth. And my research now that I've been doing and what I've got now to this point that's going in the film, I can safely say that. If you want to be involved with a project that is going to shake the foundations of both science and religion, you need to get involved with this. Period, point blank. Shake them both the fuck up. But at the same time, in a weird way, strangely enough, to be honest with you, and I don't know quite how I feel about this, because, well, actually, I do know how I feel about this, but it's a hard thing to explain. The stories that we hear in religious texts are not bullshit just because religion itself is bullshit. Do you understand what I mean? And that's something that I have only come to discover over the course of many, many years of research. And unless you've done years and years and years in research, you might not agree with that statement because you don't have all the information, just as I would not have agreed with that statement many, many years ago if I had not done my own research. But it's absolutely a fact. Now, the stories in the ancient religious texts, biblical texts or ancient Sumerian texts and stuff, there is evidence to support that a lot of this stuff took place, but the fact of the matter is, this taking stories, you can take, all religions are just based around stories. But because the religion is bullshit, it doesn't mean that the story is bullshit in all cases. Some cases, most definitely, yes, but not in all cases. But all religions, the story of Buddha, Buddhism. The guy was fucking, dead long time before it was ever picked up, but that's how religions get started. And so the crazy thing about this is that during the course of this film, I have seen, well, even though I've seen both, I've seen examples of this stuff that disproves, science and a lot of the scientific community tenfold, 100 Ways to Sunday. But crazily enough, I've also seen a lot of things that confirm things that the Mormons have talked about. I've seen things that have confirmed what the Muslims have talked about. I've seen things that have confirmed what the Christians have talked about. It's a very, very strange thing. But yet, what I see is, when I see resistance to this information, it's coming from those same religious sources. And it really, in more cases than not, feels like a hoarding more than a cover-up. You understand? as if whatever the implications of this knowledge are, whoever has the most amount of it in the largest supply is going to be the victor. So they are hoarding this information. And I have seen a lot of things. I mean, really, I've seen, it's shown me, this research has shown me that even, I mean, it's crazy to say. Well, look, the bottom line of it is science and religion are controlled by the same, they're both entities of the priest class. Period, point blank. I've talked about that many times. This is why some of the top scientists in the world are employed at the Vatican. They have the best telescopes, the best everything when it comes to science. But because they've created this schism and they've created this false paradigm, again, just like they have with the left-right paradigm, science and religion is the left-right paradigm, actually in its genesis. You know, left-wing atheist science, and then right-wing, religious creationists. But both are arms of the same exact power structure and the same exact end result. And neither serve the truth. But I really do start to believe that, have started to believe that. Well, I've heard people use the expression that science is the blueprint of God. And it seems to me that religion uses and manipulates science in order to keep anybody from ever getting to the real truth and still sticking with the dogma. Because, I mean, my God, folks, I have seen just as much dogma, if not more, in the science community as I have in the religious community. And that's kind of another strange dichotomy for me. I went from doing the secret right stuff where I'm looking really at the religious right end of it and exclusively the right end of it and not really looking at the left at all. And since I've been exposing this stuff and looking into doing this new research and this new work and looking at how they've been covering up all these artifacts for years and years, the Smithsonian and other organizations. And then I see this left-wing atheistic side, which is trying to control the flow of this information because, well, then from their end, that strengthens the religious end and makes their story stronger. So we can't have that. And that's how you know it's two sides of the same entity that won't allow either one of its own sides that it controls to have more power than the other one. So it keeps an equilibrium where they're constantly going back between each other. All the while, both of them are actively engaging in keeping you, the individual, from even knowing too much about either one of them than they feel you need to. They give you just enough religion and just enough context that they want you to know about religion, and then you start digging deeper into religion, going, "Holy shit! There's something to this." But they don't give you the context, so none of it makes sense. It just sounds like a bunch of fairy tale gibberish bullshit. But holy fuck, there actually is, archaeological evidence of some of these things. And there is, it's just insane. And then you look science, the same thing. You go, yeah, what they're saying sounds correct and it checks out, but my God, there's so much more to it than that. And so I think that this film it really is going to be probably even a bigger kick in the nads to the priest class than either one of the Secret Right films. And I wish those people who were into my work when I was into the Secret Right films, when I was doing that stuff, and who have now not listened to me anymore and have gone on to not support my work anymore, I wish they were smart enough and savvy enough to be able to see that. Because it's an absolute fact. And this has been my plan all along, and I thank you to those people who have had the faith in me for me to bring it to here. You know what I mean? I've kind of been tight-lipped about where I was going with this, but that's the point of where I've been going with all this. And if you can't see it, man, you're losing out. That's just all there is to it. So let's see what we have here tonight. in the news to discuss with you all here. It's interesting. There's a clip up on CNBC.com, and it's Chris Powell, the Secretary and Treasurer of the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, and he said some very interesting things, and it really, I wasn't thinking in terms of like, the Anunnaki stuff or anything at that time, but boy, that's what my brain was just kind of, red alert, red flag going off about when I was watching this clip, because he says that the central banks are continuing to manipulate the gold market because they're interested in supporting government bonds and the dollar and keeping interest rates low. And he says that paper gold is a problem, and don't get into paper gold and buying all this paper gold, because he says there's a huge naked short position in gold, estimating that perhaps 75 to 80% of the gold that the world thinks it owns does not exist at all, and is just a claim on a bullion bank that is underwritten basically by the central banks. Now, that's what my research has shown. And it's unbelievable this guy, Chris Powell on CNBC, would say that. But it does, that was one of the things that really made me go, oh, shit, there may be something to this Anunnaki gold thing after all. For the past 10 years, folks, the gold has been disappearing off the planet. Fort Knox was cleaned out. All that gold in the World Trade Center is cleaned out. Where did it all go? Almost 80%. So only 20% of what the world believes to be existing gold actually exists? To me, I don't know any other reason why we should even be perpetuating this illusionary reality any longer. Folks, I mean, I understand when it was all run on gold and blah, 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 and you got these paper. It's not run on anything now. It hasn't been for some time, but my God, here's the proof in the pudding. If this hadn't woke you up to this stuff by now, I don't know what will. But where did it all go? I think these fuckers offered it up to their gods in exchange for continuing to be able to stay in power and stay in control and run this planet and rule over it. That's what I think. And I think maybe that agreement's been going on for quite some time. But I mean, as crazy as it sounds, you have to go where the logical thing takes you. Folks, these guys did not just whoosh off all this gold that at one time existed off to nowhere and somewhere not being accounted for. I mean, you're just going to hoard it and just sit there on it, and then the rest of the world will know it exists? No. There's been too many resources gone towards this, especially with the 9/11 thing, with the fact that they also found Sumerian artifacts that were either stored or something like that in the World Trade Center. They found them there. I mean, the Enlil, Enki connection to the two towers, Jacquet and Boaz. Hey, there's the fingerprints all over. But I think it's a very good chance that, they've been shipping the gold off to somebody for quite some time. And it also makes me wonder if this whole story of the gold being used for their atmosphere was just hogwash horseshit. I always felt that was a red herring for something else. And now there's a story here from a nanotechnology website, nano.com, and it really, after seeing that previous article, made me start going, oh, wow, well, yeah, maybe there is something to this. Maybe that whole gold for the atmosphere thing has been hogwash. I mean, it sounds like the other global warming hogwash we've been sold on up to this point, right? Listen to this. Gold nanoparticles are capable of unraveling DNA. Now, that's interesting. Now, knowing that these guys were genetic manipulators, and knowing that they were very obsessed with gold, that's the whole reason why they did the genetic manipulation in the first place, right? But they seem to have such an ability at this. I mean, is it possible that this is the alchemy of old that's been talked about? But instead it's gold. I mean, these guys used to, the ancients, they used to ingest monoatomic gold and all this stuff. And they say that stuff unravels your DNA. But they also say that it gives you, like, insane telekinetic powers as well. So it just made me think, seeing this connection, gold nanoparticles capable of unraveling DNA, made me think, was this a part of their genetic manipulation procedures? Did they use this gold in some sort of ability to manipulate DNA? Is this possibly what the ancient Sumerian texts talk about, with the Anunnaki having the ability to, they talk about the ability to turn on immortality like a flick of a switch in the manipulation of DNA, and how they did not give the humans that ability, but could have if they wanted to, basically with like one small manipulation of the DNA structure. So I'm wondering if that indeed was the trick, if that's really why they wanted the gold. But of course, Sitchin and others working for the power structure didn't want that information to come out to the large audience. So they said, it's for their, they want it for their planet, to heal their planet. Oh, okay, well, that's not so bad. Well, no, what if they actually need it to further their own life or to give themselves immortality? By ingesting this gold and its ability to be able to unravel the DNA, unravels the DNA enough for it to be manipulated and then something switched on or off. Research carried out at North Carolina State University to identify better methods for genetic material packaging to aid in gene therapy has led to findings that could significantly impact gene therapy research and DNA-based electronics. DNA-based electronics. Where have we talked about that? Didn't we talk about that too? That was in, that was also, I think I've talked about that at some point in the show, but that was also in that movie, District 9. Remember that? That's interesting, isn't it? But that's how they're, and I want to say, I could be wrong about this, but I want to say there was some kind of a mention about that or a reference to that kind of thing in some of the Sumerian text stuff that we read here. I think in maybe some of the Sitchin books pertain to their craft or their flying, whatever they call them, their flying vehicles or flying birds or whatever they were, and described them like a Klingon bird of prey. I want to say that there was something in there in reference to that we talked about, where there's something about, it's being the technology responding to the individual person's DNA. And of course, in the movie District 9, that's how these aliens, these prawns, their weaponry is trying to can only be used by someone who has that DNA. So isn't that another interesting coincidence? So, because here's this movie where that's exactly how it is, and here we, with aliens, and now we have this gold nanoparticles unraveling DNA to create DNA-based electronics. That just, wow. Gene therapy is a treatment method for specific medical conditions where the relevant DNA cells are modified. The research team found that DNA's double helix structure could be unzipped by positively charged gold nanoparticles. Gold nanoparticles measuring 1.5 nanometers in diameter were introduced into a solution comprising double-strand DNA. The research team coated the gold nanoparticles with organic molecules that are labeled as ligands. The ligands were either positively charged or hydrophobic. DNA always holds a negative charge. The oppositely charged DNA and gold nanoparticles were attracted to one another to form complex packages. However, the hydrophobic ligands, which repel water, becomes enmeshed with each other. This causes the nanoparticles to be pulled into clusters, ultimately unraveling the DNA they were attached to. Dr. Yaroslava Yingling, co-author of the research paper and assistant professor at North Carolina for Materials and Science Engineering, highlighted the need for customizing the charge, ligands, and chemical composition of the materials involved to preserve the structural integrity of DNA. DNA-based electronics is an emerging field that aims to create nanoscale electronic circuits by adopting DNA as a template. Well, hello, nanny. Hello, nurse. Hello, transhumanism. My goodness. I mean, we just talked about this computing power now surpassing the human brain. We're now reaching the singularity. But nanoscale gold that creates circuits by adopting to your DNA as a template. I mean, well, the iBrain's going to be here before you know it, isn't it? Download all your movies, streaming MP3s, and streaming HD video directly to your brain through your DNA. From the grave, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs bring you the ultimate entertainment experience. Hi, I'm Steve Jobs. I blew my brains out in 2032, but here I am to bring you my new invention. We're going to roll crusty old Jobs out here as well. He's probably tripping on acid somewhere. Come on out here, Steve.
Hey, what? I'm so high.
Look, I have a new iPad. It involves the process of attaching metal nanoparticles to DNA. The findings from the study serve to caution researchers to thoroughly analyze the properties of the nanoparticles they employ in order to mitigate the risk posed to the DNA's structural integrity, which means careful fucking around with this stuff, you fucking maniacal bastards. Let's see what else we have. Boy, I've been telling you for many years here on the show that you can always tell where the next wars are going to be, where antiquities are located. And, of course, Yemen called that a few years ago. We've seen that over the past few years. And now Syria and Turkey and Iran, which are some of the most archaeological rich, if not the most archaeological rich places in the world. I'd just love to be able to go to some of those places and get video and stuff before the shit goes down. But man. And it seems they found more, although there's no pictures as of yet. A mysterious ancient building in Syria described as a landscape for the dead could be as old as 10,000 years old, far older than the Great Pyramid. But scientists have been unable to expose the ruins unearthed in 2009 because of the conflict in the region. Right. There you go. They just said it right there, didn't they? Yeah, they found this amazing find that's way older than the Great Pyramids and probably is pretty fucking mind-blowing. But of course, there's conflict going on there, right? But that's just coincidence. Yeah, every time brand new archaeological stuff is found that's ground-shaking that we have a huge context for, all of a sudden wars have to break out there. I mean, that's what was going on in Iraq. Why do you think that they told us on the day of 9/11 that this was all Osama bin Laden, no question, no doubt, this is Osama bin Laden, but they didn't give us an immediate... nobody said, let's bomb the hell out of blank country, because everybody was like, well, where the fuck is Osama bin Laden from? Right? Because they didn't really say, blah, 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 he's from this country. And so everybody was like, well, we can't have them saying, let's bomb Saudi Arabia. Shit, those are our allies. We got to come up with something. Well, let's fucking bring up our old guy, old standby, Saddam Hussein. Oh, Saddam Hussein, yeah. Weapons of mass destruction. That's why we need to go into Iraq. But they used 9/11 to sell us on that for a completely unrelated situation. And here we are yet again, seeing more and more of this happen. And the reason why these findings are more important now than they were 100 years ago is because now that we've progressed technologically and informationally, and we have a much greater knowledge as a whole, as a people of the earth, these ancient finds and these ancient sites actually have more context to us and explain more to us now than they ever have before. And this is seriously endangering their grip on the power structure. U.S. and Israel to hold largest ever joint military exercises. Israel and the U.S. are set to hold their largest ever joint military exercise in October, featuring thousands of soldiers in advanced anti-missile systems and simulating simultaneous fire from Iran and Syria. Well, what's interesting that they'll mention here is that Iran and Syria and Russia are going to be holding war games right around that same time. Somebody fucking, they love doing this. There's a reason why they do these kind of things and run these massive drills like this simultaneously. Because it's a great opportunity for them to have a pretext for something, Basically what it is Guy over here on Team A whips his dick out. Guy over here on Team B whips his dick out. And they start to see who can take a pee the longest. And then inevitably one of the guys pees too close to the other guy, and next thing you know, they want to fight each other with their dicks out. And that's pretty much my analysis on these war games going on in October. You know, we've heard about October surprises and all this crap. Well, here's a nice time when that could happen, possibly. Chinese target U.S. homes. Lennar Corporation, one of the U.S. largest home builders, is in talks with China Development Bank for approximately $1.7 billion in capital to jumpstart two long-delayed San Francisco projects that would transform two former naval bases into large-scale housing developments. Are they trying to change the Presidio into some housing development after they soiled it with fucking child abuse and shit all those years? China's buying up, you know, they have all our treasury bonds already, but they're buying up land over here left and right. I still think we're going to see little nation states within the United States. You'll see there'll be, you know, some states will get taken over by China, some by Russia. You'll actually have little proxy countries within the United States made up of people from all these different cultures. I believe we're going to see that. You know, you cross the border over here, you'll be in, you know, Idaho will now be fucking, you know, communist China, a block of communist China. Or, you know, Minnesota will now be a Russian subsidiary, or Alaska, you know. Swine flu likely claimed 250,000 lives. And I'll tell you, like I told you in 2009 when shit happens, we still ain't seen a fucking body. Still ain't seen a fucking body. Still hadn't talked to one single person whose brothers, cousins, sisters, uncles, cousins, friends, nieces, nephew saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night that ever knew anybody who ever got a case of this at all. But, God, they just, I mean, when it came out in 2009, I was covering the stories where those shows are out there on the internet. You can go and find those. Because I was calling out Alex Jones's horseshit, too, because he was getting on there saying, folks, if you don't get out of America by tomorrow, if you don't get out on a plane and get out of the United States before tomorrow, you're not going to be able to, folks. Because by Thursday, they are going to lock this country down. And we have the secret documents here, but you can't see them because they're secret. But you can rest assured here, we at the InfoWars team, we have secret documents, folks. This stuff is real. Ted's got a good deal for you today here on some Jew Gold, too. Come on in here, Ted. Tell him about the Jew Gold deals for him. Woo! I'm going to go home and suck on my Jew wife's titties, too. Mm-hmm. Sweet! The AH1N1 swine flu 2009 pandemic probably claimed over 250,000 lives. 15 times more than previously reported, right? They just make numbers up. Oh, yeah, fuck it. Tell them this many died. What the fuck are they going to know? How are they going to know? You're going to prove us wrong? Them motherfuckers believe anything we put in that box. Just tell them 100, you know, same thing. Do the same thing we did with the Holocaust numbers. Just make something up. Make it look good. Conservative estimates indicate that the 2010 BP oil disaster released over 200 million gallons of oil into the Gulf, followed by at least 1.8 million gallons of dispersants. While the use of dispersants helped mitigate the public relations disaster by preventing the persistent formation of surface oil, as well as keeping many beaches visibly untouched, they also drove the oil deeper into the water column and food chain, rendering a two-dimensional problem into a three-dimensional one. Additionally, research indicates that dispersants prevent the biodegradation of toxic oil components, as well as increasing dispersant absorption into fish. Since the event, both the mainstream media and the government have acted as if the oil disappeared and no significant health risks remain, with the millions still consuming the contaminated seafood from the Gulf. I don't know if sometimes stuff runs together. I'll tell people about stuff and I mean to talk about it on the show. I did not cover a story like a month or so ago about the giant Chinese shrimp that are being found along the Gulf. Well, they're just all of a sudden, in the past year, and just a few months in the past year since the BP oil spill happened down there, all of a sudden these giant non-indigenous Chinese shrimp, monster shrimp, have been appearing out of nowhere in the Gulf of Mexico for the first time ever. And, there were a lot of conspiracy theories that were going around about the BP oil spill thing, and I covered a lot of them because a lot of them were ranked off the charts from, plausible to, fucking total moonbat, kookery, tinfoil times horseshit. But sometimes, you'll hear something for the first time and you'll go, oh, God, that's kookery. There's no way I believe that. And then you'll see, you won't even be thinking about that anymore, and you'll see some random, what you think would be an unrelated piece of information. Like, oh, shit. And one of those type of conspiracies that was going around at that time was that the BP oil spill was caused by the rupture of a secret underground pipeline that the Chinese had built and tunneled from China all the way to the Gulf of Mexico to tap some of these oil reserves in our Gulf of Mexico in secret that we have not tapped. And that either as a result of industrial sabotage or as a result of faulty engineering, that pipeline exploded there and leaving, China without any sort of plausible, they got total plausible deniability. But I started wondering, well, there's a pipeline coming through there and it ruptured and stuff, and it's probably still wide open. There's nothing going through it anymore because it busted. But, isn't there a chance that a bunch of these giant Chinese shrimp could have came through that pipeline, through that tunnel, and made its way to the Gulf of Mexico? I mean, it seems odd that it's never happened before. And now, just since the BP oil disaster, they're appearing there out of nowhere. So, again, it's one of those things at the time. I was like, oh, man, that's probably not true. Wow. Maybe there is something to that. I don't know. Warning, over $1,000 technology which hijacks drones flying over the U.S. could be used in a terror attack. Oh, this is greatness. So now, flying hijacked airliners by remote control into buildings on 9/11 was not rich enough for these guys. So now what they're trying to do is they're trying to set up this preemptive backstory thing so they can set up, hackers and whistleblowers and this kind of thing. So now they're advertising the fact that there is software that you can get for as little as $1,000 and stuff, electronic kits, which can allow you to hijack UAVs and then use them for, to wreak destruction. And this, to me, just smells of a total op, and I can absolutely see something coming where, they take one of these drones and fly it into something and then plant software on some, activist computer or something like that and claim it was him and this hacker and this whistleblower that did it for terroristic purposes. I mean, this just really opens up the ability for them to create bullshit stories because, again, this is, well, how are you going to prove them wrong? How are you going to question them? If they say their stuff got hijacked, it must have got hijacked, right? That's all there is to it. No. Ever since the September 11th attacks, the government has stepped up security at airports in a bid to stop terrorists from repeating their feat of hijacking commercial airplanes. But officials could be ignoring another potential source of terrorist violence, unmanned drones. As the number of unmanned aerial vehicles continues to rise, security experts have warned that they could be turned into weapons by hijackers using electronic kits which cost as little as $1,000. The ability to bring down drones by confusing their GPS navigation was vividly shown when the Iranian government proudly showed off a U.S. military aircraft which it captured in its airspace last year. But with an increasing number of drones being operated by companies and individuals, it is no longer necessary to break through military-level security to hack or hijack a UAV. And if they didn't want you to know about this information, they wouldn't put it out there. See, this is This is how ridiculously retarded they think that everybody is, and I'll give you that. A lot of people are, but because they think that we don't know how they work. Folks, if they find a flaw in their security system that could really put the security at risk, do you think it is more likely that they're going to go directly to the media and directly tell the media that this is going on as possible, or would it be better to keep it as quiet as possible? We know they're good at keeping quiet. And so when you follow their normal MO would be to keep it as quiet as possible and play damage control until you can get the problem fixed. And then once it's fixed, you maybe say, oh, well, thank goodness we were able to fix that problem. The only way you would tell anybody up front, and I think this is par for the course, is they're trying to goad people, just like they goad Al-Qaeda and goad people into doing this kind of stuff. And the same way they set up these phony bombers and then go on TV and tell everybody they foiled a terrorist plot. Terrorist plot foiled today. Homeland Security was able to stop 2 possible Al-Qaeda terrorists. And then they go on to read, you hear more of the story, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what happened. They told this guy they were going to go blow something up. They got him all ramped up. They got him to do it, and then boom, it was the cops. That's not thwarting a terrorist plot. It was a made-up plot to begin with. There were no real bombs. Nobody was ever going to get hurt. There was never going to be blown up. The only way it ever existed in any kind of reality was in this guy's mind, who you convinced that it was real in the first place. So that's the same thing they're trying to do here. Well, let's put it out there, and that way, the hackers and these people will know that it's possible to do that. And then once they have that information and know that you can use $1,000 software to hack a UAV, then when somebody does it, we'll have a pretext to lock things down even further and start opening up those martial law FEMA camps people have been screaming about for decades. Otherwise, they'd keep their fucking mouth shut about this. You would never hear about it. They would fix the flaw. They would fix the issue, and that would be it. But they want you to believe that they would just tell us, oh, well, you can hijack one of these for less than $1,000 and just put it out there on the news like it's no big deal. Come on. Aren't you afraid that, one of our enemies, would it be logical that our enemy would, if we were to believe that the world is how they tell us it is, then by that rationale, it would stand to reason that your enemy could see this news article just like you and I are, and then go buy this $1,000 piece of equipment and fly one into the fucking White House. That is not how they operate, folks. They don't just allow stuff out there. They want somebody to try this. And, some idiot probably will. Sadly enough. Oh, man, this is fucking greatness right here. I wish I could see something like this. This just sounds like fucking hilarious. Elmo in cuffs. Man dressed as Sesame Street character is carried away in Central Park after anti-Semitic rant in front of kids. The appearance of a hate-spewing man dressed up as Elmo was a jarring one for many New Yorkers who visited Central Park on Sunday afternoon. The unidentified man was seen shouting obscenities and anti-Semitic accusations while visiting the Manhattan Park. Passers-by took videos of the man, who refused to quiet down after pleading parents said that he was disturbing their children. He also urged listeners to read The International Jew, a pamphlet of anti-Semitic musings by automobile manufacturer Henry Ford in the 1920s. After tormenting park goers, the man was removed by police and taken by ambulance to New York Presbyterian Hospital. Though he was handcuffed to the scene, he was not arrested. It was not the first time the man turned one of the Sesame Street favorites into a fearmonger. Oh, that's just too funny. Hey kids, it's Elmo. Ha ha ha. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Yeah. I'm Elmo. We're going to talk about the Jews. Yeah. Hey, you all know about the Jews, right? Yeah. Yeah, fuck those fucking Jews. Fuck them right in their dirty kosher assholes. Yeah, say it with me, kids. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Fuck those dirty Jews and fuck them right in their dirty kosher assholes. Elmo loves you. Yay! Oh, man. That would have been some good shit to see right there. Elmo's going, you fucking dirty cunts. Notice how he didn't get arrested, though. That to me just reeks that this was some kind of operation going on, some kind of psych warfare operation. Because, dude, come on. I mean, how many people have we seen get tased and beat down and shot for less than that? Give me a break. You go and start, I mean, really. This day and age, dude, if you were to really roll out and you weren't working for somebody, it wasn't part of some operation, roll in an Elmo suit and start yelling fucking Jew, 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 and fuck the Jews, you would get your ass fucking beat down and arrested. Market for Martian meteorites heats up. Yep, rare earths, baby. That's what I've been telling you. No mission to Mars has ever brought back rocks, but pieces of the red planet have turned up on Earth. In late May, a Mars rock, small enough to fit into an adult's palm and covered in a glassy crust, as black as space, sold for $43,750. A significant price even for a piece of the fourth planet. It should be stated that Mars is among the rarest things on Earth, said Daryl Pitt, the dealer who sold this specimen at auction. This rock was a piece of the Tissot meteorite, which appeared as a fireball in the sky over the desert southwest of Tissot, Morocco, on July 18, 2011. Local people discovered the pieces of the Tissot meteorite in November, and a team of experts classified it, making the discovery official in January. Tony Irving, a meteoricist at the University of Washington, estimates the Tissot meteorite brought at least 33 pounds of Mars rock to Earth. It's going to be very hard to get an accurate tally because so many people have gotten involved. After its discovery, pieces of the Tissot entered a growing commercial market for meteorites. Demand and prices for meteorites increased dramatically as a result of publicly surrounding the first public auctions offering meteorites in the late 1990s, according to Pitt. The demand has in turn motivated meteorite hunters to find more of them. So why the demand? Why would they want these things so bad? Why is there such a high price for them? You saw Avatar, right? Unobtainium? There you go. Elon Musk, the creator of the Tesla Model S electric car, has already revolutionized the world twice. He co-founded PayPal, one of the staple payment methods on the internet, then founded the SpaceX rocket program, which launched last month and made him the first commercial operator in space. Now his electric car attempts a motor revolution, packing as it does an electric engine that can do 0 to 60 in a silent 4.4 seconds. 2 boots as there is no engine in the bonnet, and 300 miles between charges, which, when it comes, only costs $6.40. Elon says he hopes to break the illusion about electric cars and show they can be the best cars in the world. Tesla Motors delivered Model S, the world's first premium electric sedan, to its first customers at an invitation-only event at the Tesla factory in Fremont, California on Friday. The company has already pre-sold this year's first batch of 5,000 and plans to ramp up production to 20,000 in 2013. And, it's a nice-looking car. But how much does it cost? 40, 50 grand up front, or 100 grand probably. That's the whole thing is that these guys are all in this shit for the money. And, this PayPal cocksucker's using the, he's using the good name of Tesla to just make more money for the bankers, J.P. Morgan and the rest of those clowns. That's really the long and the short of it, to be honest with you. Because if you really wanted to change the world, you'd make this car and you'd sell it for fucking hardly nothing. And just have it run on free energy. Fuck, plugging it in and using electricity. The stuff's out there. Tesla had the knowledge of it. It's available. And if you were going to produce an electric car, it should be cheap, it should be affordable, It should be accessible to the average person. It shouldn't cost $100,000. It shouldn't cost $50,000. It shouldn't cost $85,000. So you can yank that crank somewhere else. I'm not buying it. Archaeologists in Greece's second largest city have uncovered a 70-meter, 230-foot section of an ancient road built by the Romans that was the city's main travel artery nearly 2,000 years ago. The marble-paved road was unearthed during excavations for a new subway system, which is due to be completed in 4 years. The road in the northern port of the city will be raised to be put on permanent display when the metro opens in 2016. The excavation site was shown to the public on Monday when details of the permanent display project were also announced. Several of the large marble paving stones were etched with children's board games, while others were marked by horse-drawn cartwheels. Also discovered at the site were remains of tools and lamps, as well as the bases of marble columns. Vicky Tanzakuli, an archaeologist working on the project, told the Associated Press the Roman road was about 1,800 years old, while remains of an older road built by the ancient Greeks 500 years earlier were found underneath it. These have been found in the United States. They found an ancient tile floor in Oklahoma that they say is way, way, way older than that. 80,000 years old, possibly. Actually, in our reading that we're going to get to here in just a bit, that's there's been several of these that have been found, these ancient like super highways and shit. Pennsylvania and several other states, I can't remember. Maryland, maybe, they've been found here in the United States. I know that our next chapter, I think that we're going to be reading, is going to be discussing that. So this article is right on time with that. But it is interesting to me they're going to, pull the plug on, or they're going to raise it up, move it somewhere else. All right, that's all the news for tonight. We'll get into more for you here tomorrow night on the show. We're going to take a break, come back, and get into our continued series of reading for you here tonight. This is The Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Stay with us. All right, back here with you on the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being here with us tonight for another late night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. We're going to continue on with our series of reading tonight, The Lost Worlds of Ancient America, Chapter 32, West Virginia's Ancient Highway to Nowhere. It's very interesting that they're now finding more of these Roman-style highways, but even more interesting, they're finding them not only in the obvious place in Rome, or Greece or wherever, but also in the United States as well. TheGlobalReality.com is my website. It's TheGlobalReality.com. Again, this is our fundraising week. We have about 900 to go. You can break that down, do the math on that, but everybody chipped in $25 each. We'd be getting there. So definitely help us out there with that. And if you also want to use the donate button to make contributions towards the film, you can do that there, or the Kickstarter as well. You can make pledges on that as well. Don't forget the Global Reality All-Stars, $50 or more, get you in the drawing. And we're going to have 2 drawings Friday night, and any donations that are made up to the point of the showtime on Friday will be in the drawing. Well, maybe not. I'm going to say up to Thursday, because I got to have time to prepare all that stuff for the drawing. So yeah, we'll cut it off Thursday. But if you happen to slip one in there Friday, I'm not going to say I won't put your name in the hat. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't get paid till Friday, so I won't say. I'm going to say the cutoff's going to be Thursday, but if there's an extreme case where nobody can get it in till Friday, hey, I'll still put your name in there. But we're going to be doing more of this, and the prices are going to increase and get better. And like I said, hopefully we're going to have some people coming on to provide products that will be given away as well. Stuff will be given away. I think it's cool to have the tie-dye thing. I think is going to be really cool. They have aprons and shirts and all kinds of stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool to have, let the winner pick what they want, and what they want. We could put something like Global Reality All Stars or whatever. I'm also working up a little trophy thing that I'm going to try to give out once a month with the prize as well. So that'll be cool. But anyway, just trying to find more incentives and more prizes and really cool things to give away, and have incentives for the audience to support our work and all that. And definitely going to be working on more ways to make that possible. And I think it's a great model for for getting sponsors as well. I will let you know, though, in every case, I'm not in every case, but in the case of this T-shirt, with the T-shirt thing, I'll gladly exchange, the mention of her website for the T-shirts. But in some of the other cases, there may be, depending on what the product is, I may have to have, some cash in there as well for the mention of your product, depending on, how much free stuff you're going to be providing. I like free stuff better than cash sometimes anyway. I had an email that came in here tonight during the show while I've been live, and it's from Rick in San Diego, and it blows me away every time. Rick he sends me an email, it just fucking locks in with something that I've already looked into, and but I'm going to have to get back to him with a specific picture so I can make my point. But it's a great email. Read his email here from Rick. He says, "Hello, I noticed watching the Prometheus movie that the space jockey resembled the Indian god Ganesha, the elephant-headed god. It appears that H.R. Geiger may have been influenced by him. Since H.R. Geiger was really into the occult, he designed the space jockey back in 1978 when the original came out, and the tusk that emerged from his mouth resembled Ganesha's elephant trunk. You might want to do some research into Ganesha. I know all about Ganesha. I'll tell you that in just a minute. He arose to prominence after the 3rd century A.D., but apparently he was not. Apparently he was one of the lesser demons before that, and some scholars consider Ganesha to be a non-Vedic god. He was both remover of obstacles and cause of obstacles, and is associated with the cosmic eggs which are contained within him. i.e. alien eggs in Ridley Scott's movie. Yeah, good call there. I would agree with that. The Brahmahanda Purana says that Ganesha has the name Lambadara because all the universes, i.e. cosmic eggs with a past, present, and future, are present in him. Also, one of Ganesha's weapons is a lasso, the alien lassoing the astronaut in Scott's Alien movie. Another of Ganesha's weapons is an axe, as in a Shah holding the axe at the end of the movie. Anyway, I wanted to get your take on this and maybe see if there are any Anunnaki connections with the Ganesha of the Hindu pantheon. All the best. Strangely enough, Rick, last week on the show, I can't remember what night this was. Was it Friday night? It was one night last week for sure. I was talking about the Father Crespi collection in Ecuador, and I had dropped a couple of pictures in the chat room, one of which was this, savage carrying a, some kind of a spear, and in the other hand carrying the head of this bearded giant. And in another artifact from Father Crespi's collection, there was this Atlantean serpent priest with a serpent in the background with clearly Atlantean priest clothing on, and standing on top of a language codex. Now, one of our listeners, Nikola Tesla, and by the way, this guy really is Nikola Tesla, by the way. He's always in character. It's fucking greatness. Like if he's referencing something about Nikola Tesla, he'll say, "Oh yeah, that's that technology I invented back in 1905 or whatever." It's great. But he had dropped this link in the chat room, and I had known about Father Crespi's collection for years, but never really seen a lot of the photographs, or hadn't really remembered to go back and research more of it more appropriately. But he had dropped this link, and I started seeing his pictures, and I went, "Oh shit!" It described it with this is from Father Crespi's collection. Well, there was another one in there, and I'm going from memory, Rick, but I'm going to have Tesla will probably be listening to this show on an archive later. Tesla, if you can remember that link, because he and I were in the chat room looking at these artifacts. And I'll be goddamned if there was one that he dropped in there and he said, yeah, this is supposed to be this or whatever. And very alien looking. And I said, no, wait a minute. That looks like Ganesha. You know, and it was, I can't remember exactly what it was depicting, though, Rick, to tell you the details to even make it interesting to you. But damn it, what I'm going to do is, Tesla, if you're listening, if you can remember what that link was to that picture with the elephant-looking thing on it, and any information you can find on where that came from or whatever, if you can email that to me, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. Email me the link and the photo if you can find it. And then, Rick, I will forward that over to you after I get it, and then I'll talk about it on the next show. But you're absolutely 100% on target as always, Rick. Awesome job, dude. Thank you for all you do in research and stuff, because you really have been a contributor of mine, and really shown me stuff that's right in line with what I found, and great contribution to the work. I appreciate all that you do and all you send me. But I can't really iterate on it all. I'll iterate more on the connection to that and what I think about it later on, Rick, once I have the picture so I can examine it again. But I want to say that it was like the official story of whatever it was said it was one thing. Like, it didn't say it was an elephant or call it an elephant god or anything else, but I took one look at it and said, holy shit, that's Ganesha. And it was in some strange depiction. God damn it, I wish I could remember what it was. But I'll get Tesla to get that picture for me, and I'll get it over to you. Yeah, that's great stuff, man. Thanks so much for that email. I'll definitely try my best to talk more about the Ganesha connection in the future. All right, Chapter 32, West Virginia's Ancient Highway to Nowhere. Although Rome was famous as the great road builder of the ancient Old World, similar accomplishments in pre-Columbian North America have been forgotten. When the first explorers and pioneers arrived in the upper Monongahela Valley of present-day West Virginia, they found significant physical evidence that a mysterious pre-Columbian race of people once inhabited the area. Of particular interest was the discovery of an ancient engineering site, a prehistoric road laboriously constructed from knapped stone, crushed mussel shells, and clay tamped into a hard surface. That's interesting, isn't it? Because what are we talking about here? We're talking about different materials brought together to make one solid piece of stone. Boom, here we go. Connection right there to our rock wall builders. The ancient road was 12 miles in length, 14 inches thick, and 9 feet wide, extending from the mouth of the Monongahela River, following the east bank of the Catawba, Marion County. Also within a mile radius on both sides of the river and near present-day Fairmont, were discovered extraordinary archaeological sites consisting of stone structures, mussel shell burial mounds, giant human skeletons. Oh, my goodness. Yep. What'd I tell you? See, I mean, I've got this, folks, I've got this shit so pegged. I've got this stuff so thoroughly researched and so proven that I can take one look now at some piece of evidence. I had not previously read this chapter or known about this evidence at all. I haven't found this yet in my research. That's what's been great about reading this book. And with this book being topical with the current film that I'm doing, to be honest with you folks, I've been able to knock out a good deal of things that will be usable for voiceovers, a good deal of things that has helped me in my research for this film, meaning that when I'm doing the show now, the time at which I'm spent doing the show isn't so much taking time away from my research, because I'm able to, I'm finding out new stuff here. But what's amazing is that I take one look at something like that now, and how they were talking about this road was built with these different things brought together. And I said, that's my boys. There they are. These are the guys. These are the rock wall builders and the mound builders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, boom, what do we find out? Right near there, they happen to find what? Burial mounds and what else? Giant human skeletons. Whew. Goodness gracious, folks. Please get in now and support this work, because this is going to be fucking huge. Huge. Bigger than I have any context for. They found extraordinary archaeological sites consisting of stone structures. Stone structures. Boom, there's another one. Another key indicator. Stone structures, mussel shell burial mounds, giant human skeletons, and an earthen fort with mound complex. Numerous artifacts ranging from copper bowls and jewelry to finely worked stone weapons and tools were likewise found here. These prehistoric locations were not the products of human imagination. Evidence for their existence is well documented by credible sources. Reverend Henry Morgan recalled many eyewitnesses who told him of seeing sections of the old Indian Road and said it was made of small broken stones and mussel shell mortar. In some places it was still fairly solid, but mostly it came apart when uncovered and subjected to rain. The road was largely destroyed when grading was laid for the FM&P Railroad. The upper section of coke ovens at Montana Mines was built on the site of the Stone and Mussel Road. I remember the Indian Road well, wrote John J. Prickett. It left the Monongahela River near Pickett's Fork, crossed the edge of the ridge and rejoined the river, and ran to Catawba, where it ended. It was plowed out on the Prickett land, but there has always been a path where it was. A hiking path at present-day Pickett's Fort State Park was designated the Mussel Shell Trail. It was historian Adam O. Heck's opinion, after talking to 23 persons who remembered the Stone Mussel Shell enterprise, that laying of the road had begun just below the mouth of the Tigrit Valley River and ended at Little Creek, Catawba, and in that, except for about half a mile on the Prickett's land, it followed the east bank of the river very near the water from beginning to end. And almost all of it, not destroyed by the railroad construction, had gone underwater when the first locks were built. Local newspaper columnist and historian E. Meredith reported a train wreck on the day before Christmas 1894 and a locomotive and several coal cars at the Montana coke ovens. According to Meredith, Dr. Kramer, an amateur archaeologist from Smithtown, arrived on the scene to help the injured. It was then he made a most interesting discovery. The train, in leaving the tracks, had torn great holes and gashes in the earth. In places, the bedding slag and topsoil had been skinned off. In a space about 40 feet wide and 100 feet long, in this trench-like excavation about 3 feet deep, lay revealed a section of the Stone and Mussel Shell Road. Dr. Kramer, a student of prehistoric lore, instantly knew what stood revealed and called attention to the ancient wonder, asking the man in charge to please make certain the site was not disturbed until pictures could be made of it. Dr. Kramer returned with Fairmont photographer Israel Foreman, who helped develop prints of the ancient construction's exposed remnant. A section of the prehistoric road uncovered by the wreck was examined by Dr. Kramer and other investigators. They found that the mussel shell mortar had lost its hold, and it was impossible to remove intact in any part much larger than a man's hand. Several local residents took their own photographs of the exposed section, but all copies have long since vanished. The last reported sightings of parts of the road was made in 1959. So that's the end of Chapter 32. We'll pick up next time with Chapter 33, The Incas More Advanced Than Imagined. Indeed. So we'll get into that next time on the show. I want to thank everybody for being with us here tonight. My website, where this broadcast originates from, where everything pertaining to my work can be found, is theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. This is our fundraising week. Please hit the chip-in banner at the website. Make a donation. Help us reach our goal to get the operating costs paid this week. And the sooner we can get that done, the quicker I can get back to concentrating on this work. And as I've been trying, I haven't even been iterating to you in the least bit. I've just giving you small little doses of it. I can continue to be immersed in it because I'm just swimming in this stuff, man, now. It's more... I don't know, man. It's just more fucking nuts than I could even talk about on a radio show. I can't even. I don't even have words. I'm just really focused on trying to do my best to present this in the best way I can. And what's great is when you have great information, you don't even have to try. It just does it for you. And that's really where I'm at right now. I mean, it was before. I felt like in the past with films, like I had the burden of having to try to prove something, to people or to prove something to be true. And folks, this information in itself presents itself to you, and you will know in your soul it to be true. It's mind-blowing. And that's why I want to encourage everybody to continue to dig, continue to do your own research, and continue to try and find that deeper perspective and that deeper truth. Because it's out there if you want to find it. But in order to find it, you have to continue to look for it. And it will find you once you seek it out. That's a promise. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you, and we'll see you next time. You guys have a great one. Take care.